Joining me today, I have Shellie Power. She is the Executive Director at Hope Centre Ministries. Thank you so much, Shellie, for joining us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. For people who might not know, tell us a little bit about Hope Centre Ministries. What do you guys do?
Well, we are an organization right here in Winnipeg, and we are all about spiritual care and belonging for people with disabilities. And that means we facilitate as many different opportunities as we can that will give individuals with disabilities a unique offering of places and times where they can connect with God and their faith, build relationships with other people, and also just learn about the gifts that they've been created with and how they can use them as well to serve their community.
That sounds amazing. What sort of things do you do in order to do that work?
Well, we have a list of programs that we facilitate. And so one of our biggest programs is it runs September to May, and it's called Friendship from Home. We used to do it in person, but COVID changed everything. And so it's an online interactive Bible study. And so we're creating Bible study kits that we're delivering to people who have signed up. And we open envelopes together. We wonder, explore, and then remember God's word together is kind of the format of that. As well, we host a monthly community Sunday, which is just about faith, fun, and fellowship. And it has a small learning component to it, but we also love to gather around tables because we know that we've been really craving and needing the personal interactions.
Hmm.
We have something called midweek meets, which if anybody is in the malls at the times that we are, we tend to take over large sections of food court. Um, and then a lot of just care ministry things like the mailing of cards and letters and birthday cards, anything that we can think of and do that just allows people with disabilities to know that we notice them, um, and we know them and that they are missed when we don't see them. So,
I love it. Thank you for sharing that. You guys have an event coming up. I'd love to hear more details.
yeah, so one of the things that has kind of come when we have supported individuals with disabilities is also the supporting of families and caregivers who provide support for individuals as well. So we do host a monthly care group. We call it Parents, Partners, in Prayer. And um, we were made aware of a conference that was being put on from another organization that was specifically for female caregivers, moms, grandmas, aunties of individuals with disabilities. And we thought that this would be a wonderful opportunity to just put it out there in the Winnipeg community and just see if there are any other people who are just longing to connect with, we tend to say others who get it, who understand the difference in the journey that may be happening when we are raising a son or daughter with a disability. So they are putting on this conference. It's going live in Tennessee, and we're obviously not in Tennessee, but it will be streamed to different locations, and people can tune in from the comfort of their own home. But we are really hoping that some people will want to gather here in Winnipeg. It's called By the Brook, and it is the theme for this year is called Beloved, and it's really just a time to just lean into our belovedness as caregivers and spend some time again with other people who may understand on a different level some of the things we face day to day.
When is it taking place and how can people get involved?
Well, it's taking place June 21 to 22. So it's a Friday evening and a Saturday. And we are hosting a site location at Riverwood Church Community at their warehouse location. But you go online and you register for a remote site. You can pick our site, but we also know a number of moms who are are just choosing to do it from the comfort of their own home, and we get that as well. So there's the whole online component, and then the organizers called Rising Above Ministries will send out the live streams, and yeah, you can participate that way. But we will be
Fantastic.
doing it. There's a small group of us going to gather and participate together and have some of the in-between times in conversation and community.
Fantastic. Shellie, I would love to know, why do you do this work?
Hmm, that is an excellent question. Years ago, I was a special education teacher in a small Christian school in Ontario. And one of the things that broke my heart was when the students that I supported struggled in our Bible classes. And I passionately believe that if there's one subject in school that you should not be allowed to fail, it should be Bible. And that we had set it up potentially in that setting, maybe in the wrong way. And so just really went about making different goals for our program. Along my own story, I was invited to participate in a Youth with Disabilities mission trip and just completely fell in love with what it means to share God's word with people with disabilities. And a job opening at Hope Centre Ministries became available right around the same time my husband was looking for work. And so we took a plunge and we moved to Winnipeg. We felt very called by God to this ministry and to this community. And now I say I do this because those are the people who teach me who Jesus is. I feel very selfish. It's not necessarily what I bring to the table at all, but they reflect back to me the very heart of Jesus in his ministry on earth. And so I do this because I want to know him more and more.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your heart. I would love to know, for any person listening who might be a caregiver right now, who might be feeling a little overwhelmed, maybe even a little hopeless or just tired, do you have any advice for them?
Yeah, first of all, I hope they hear that there are people who get it. And we use that here a lot. Um, we all come with different stories, and our parenting journeys are all different. I myself am a parent of someone who lives with a hidden disability, and I've had some very difficult years in that, where it was really hard for me to also relate to other people. The milestones of some of my friends weren't my milestones. I couldn't even understand their highs. And my lows seemed to also come with a package of shame, and often just not knowing how to say that out loud because I was, yeah, I think wrongfully um, thinking that people were maybe judging me for them. So what we lived with was often behavioral, and I get that people live with all different things. So whenever I do a workshop, some of my first lines are, this is not a result of bad parenting. Um, yeah, we often are in places and situations where we don't know what to do, and that is okay. But community is, there's hope in community, there's strength in vulnerability. So when we can share with someone else just our ordinary day to day, I think there's just a weight lifted, and we can experience what I used to just call my breathing spots. You know, that opportunity. Sometimes I didn't have words with some of the other parents, but I knew that I had a place to just kind of breathe, and it allowed a renewing sense for myself. And so if there are people listening and they are feeling alone, alone can often feel overwhelming. And sometimes, just because of our circumstances and the busyness and the reality of caring, means that we do find ourselves alone, and we don't often take time to just hit pause and seek out something that might just be for us. And so just want to encourage people that no matter how it feels, you are not alone. And I'm also don't want people to think that we think it's a completely negative experience. Community celebrates together too, and milestones are different. And our parents group often is a rambunctious group of people just laughing at the joys that come with parenting as well. And there is a lot of joy in that journey too. And sometimes we're reminded of that as well when we gather and we get to share stories and help each other through those moments. But that would be the biggest thing is I just want people to know that if you are feeling alone, if you are feeling like you can't relate, that there are people who can. And maybe this weekend isn't something that you can fit in your um, schedule, but even just reach out and we'd love to like hear your story, maybe connect you with some other parents, uh, pray for you, just remind you that no, you are not alone. There are people who get it, and we can walk this journey together.
I love that. We can walk this journey together. Thank you so much, Shellie, for taking the time to share about this event coming up, what you do, and just maybe a little bit of light for some caregivers on their long and beautiful journey. Thank
Mhm.
you very much, Shellie.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.